Hey everyone, Eric Romanak with SIVA Fitness Academy, and again, Dr. Winters with Winters Wellness Chiropractic Redefined. And I've been a big fan of Dr. Winters, and I'm here for my third treatment of, what's it called?
Quantum neurology.
Quantum neurology. It's something that's helping my brain talk to my muscles better, and like I've always said before, all fitness starts in the brain. We have a lot of muscles and a lot of mechanics that sometimes the brain just doesn't have its head wrapped around, so to speak, and Dr. Winters helps my brain talk better to my body. But before we get started, I wanted to ask Dr. Winters, because Dr. Winters has a very big view about how the body works, how the brain works with the cellular body, and it's hard for people like me to get my head wrapped around all the things you do. So you use different instruments and some things that we haven't seen before in typical doctor's offices, and we forget that, you know, a guy like you has read all these books and has connected all these dots, and here I am just starting on dot one, and I don't always see how you get from point A to point B. So what were some big aha moments you had that kind of made you look deeper and more expansive into the human health mind-body connection?
Yeah. Well, my first aha moment was my own health. Mm-hmm. And when I was in college, pre-chiropractic college, I had a structural chiropractor because I was always putting my shoulder out of place playing football. I'd have to go get it set back in place and get my spine worked on from getting beat up in football. But then I got sick, and the medical model traditionally couldn't help me, and the structural chiropractor couldn't help me, and I had to find a chiropractor that thought a little bit more mind-body connection, a little bit more nutrition, a little bit more holistically. And once I went that route, I started to recover my own health. So that set a lot of things in motion for me right there. That there's nothing wrong with this, just a structural approach, but that's not going to get everybody healthy that is suffering.
Yeah, so there's some deeper underlying systems, and you know, we obviously as a human species, we still need to be constantly learning and going deeper and deeper into problems. And there's a big difference between symptom management or going into, you know, a surgical approach, or trying to actually find some underlying root causes. And that's definitely the philosophy that you seem like you've locked in on as long as I've known you, at least.
Yeah, so from those early experiences, I realized that other things were important along with the adjustment to help us get as healthy as possible. So I started studying functional healthcare and taking a lot of classes in that area. They taught us a lot about hormones and a lot about the immune system and a lot about the detoxification processes. And that was great, but again, that only took people so far, and I realized that what needed to be connected to that was what originally started with. The neurological connection needed to be tied in with that. Mm-hmm. And then we developed this model called HIDDEN, which stands for finding our hidden weaknesses, but it also stands for hormones, immune, detox, and neurological. So that's something we actually have a United States trademark on, so that we can bring all that, what was considered functional medicine and functional neurology, all together, so that we can help people maximally get as healthy as possible.
Yeah, that's a huge endeavor to take under. But I mean, you got to be passionate if you want to, you know, look at a big formula like that.
Yeah.
And we're really glad and very lucky in Paducah to have Dr. Winters. So people come from all over the world, literally, to work with you, and it's I'm very honored that I actually have only drive 10 minutes to get here. But I'm here for my third session, and I just want to say something too. You know, I spent 30 years just mindlessly neglecting my health. And one of the reasons I have a lot of buy-in with Dr. Winters and his approach is because I started to heal up here as well as here by taking what I would call a mind-body approach with yoga, martial arts, and then turned into meditation, fitness, running, and all those kind of things. So my quality of life, my health has done nothing but improve as I've worked on a more holistic approach to myself as opposed to just symptom management. And I've connected a lot of dots, and I really find it fascinating the type of work he does. And even though it doesn't necessarily make sense, I know that you've done a lot of homework, and you've done a lot of patient doctor time and seen so much more than I can imagine.
Yeah, and it may not make sense at first, but it all connects together right here in the brain. Your immune system, your brain talks to your immune system, your brain talks to your hormones, your brain talks to your detoxification systems. It all connects right there. There's a little mind-body connection.
Yeah. How could there not be?
Yeah.
Like, how could we even go about our day if everything wasn't communicating in some type of symbionts and just, I mean, that's the essence of who we are. There's nothing that's separate, really, is there? All right, well, I'm excited to get my third quantum neurology adjustment here, so we're going to take a pause on the camera, and I'll see you in just a second.
Okay, so I'm looking at Eric's posture, and one side of the shoulder I see square, the other shoulder it's rolled in on the right. And then the camera may not see the toes, but one toe is square and the other one is flared out just a little bit, again on the right. So that's a sign that the right brain isn't firing as strongly as the left, because part of the job of the brain is to hold us back into extension here and keep us square. So we're going to verify that. First I need to check which hip is high, and it's your right. Okay, so go ahead and lay on your back for me, Eric. Now we're going to check some reflex responses along the body. And right now I'm checking a reflex point. In acupuncture it's called spleen 21. He's reacting on that. That tells me stop for now. One of the most important things to learn for a healthcare provider, especially in my shoes, is when to stop. Because if we want to be the hero, we don't be the hero by being too much. We actually be the hero by learning when to stop. Because if we push a person's nervous system too far, it's just like training too hard, they're going to backset. Yeah. And so we have to stop when the body says and the nervous system says to stop. And then it has a chance to take in what we've done and utilize it and go to the next level. Otherwise, you just push too hard and go boom.
Yeah, it's a long-term health model versus a short-term health model. And one of the problems with training for a race or being an athlete in general is that you have a hard deadline. You've got something coming up, and you train real hard for that event, and then what happens after that event? The body absolutely crashes. It's like we almost give everything we got. We probably should have quit a long time ago if we were just worried about health.
Yeah.
But health and athletics aren't the same thing.
Right.
Being fit and being healthy aren't the same thing. So Doc tells me I'm supposed to, take a day off, and I will probably tomorrow because I have to run today.
No, he'll probably be okay on exercising, but I just have to stop any neurological input.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that balance between being an athlete and being healthy is one that's a conversation that I'm more interested in addressing as well in our culture. And I really appreciate having the medical backing, to see that. It's really a
and
great
you've
thing.
talked about that on some previous videos.
I have, yeah. Overtraining is a big, big thing. Yeah, it is. Hey, Doc, thank you very much for the adjustment today. I really appreciate it. Another great, just time spent learning more about who I am and how I work and what my body is saying, because even though my brain thinks one thing, my body may be saying something completely different. So I trust my body a little bit more than my ego and my brain. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again on the next episode.